everyone, welcome back to another episode of Save Like a Pro with Leah. How is everyone doing? Here we have almost springtime. I reached 1300 subscribers. I thank you so much for being part of my YouTube family. Without your help, I won't be able to continue like this. So I cannot imagine how much I appreciate all of you guys. As you guys know, I'm a small investor as well as a healthcare professional. Today I'm going to talk about renting versus owning a home. Which one is better? What are the pros and cons of both sides? I'm going to give you 5 different tips. Then you can decide which one is better. If you rent a place, it's very convenient. You don't have any headache as a landlord. You just need to call the landlord and tell them to fix stuff. It's very convenient. That's one pros about renting. At the same time, if you own a home, it's not that easy. If there is something comes up, any issues, you have to fix it yourself. That's one thing about the owning. You are the owner and you are responsible for all the fixing by yourself. That's one thing about you're renting a home. It's kind of convenient that if you need to move in 1 or 2 years, it's really convenient, especially if you need to go to out of state and stuff like that. When your lease is up, you are ready to go. But when you own the place, then you have to try to sell the place and look for a realtor, and you have to negotiate those type of things. Number 3, when you rent a place, you just rent the place for 30 days and you are not accumulating any acuity over time. If you own the home, I know you had to pay mortgage, property tax, insurance and everything else, but you are accumulating acuity over time. So that's a good thing, especially if you need to borrow against it. It's a good thing, so consider that. If you are renting a place, you don't need to require very good credit. As long as it's decent, you can rent a place. Whereas you own the home is really hard. You need to have a good credit, and lenders has to make sure that you pay the mortgage every month, and so the bank won't lose anything. So your credit has to be kind of good. So that's another thing with the owning. The 5th one is when you rent a place, you cannot personalize anything. You are just renting a place for a period of time. You cannot paint, or if you want to put some fixture up or make a big hall, you need to get approval from the owner, and it can be stressful at times, especially if you have 1 or 2 people extra move into the place. With the rental, it would be hard because the landlord may not allow you. And if you own a place, you can personalize whichever way you want, and you are accumulating acuity over time, and you can borrow against different stuff. For me, I can tell you something personal. I came to this country in 1996. As soon as I came here, I started to work and went to school. I knew only very little English. But I was willing to put the work on it. I'm here in this country for 5 years. I noticed that I'm paying too much money to IRS, and I'm renting at the same time. So I said, instead of paying the money, if I buy a place, I can show the depreciation. Why should I spend that much money? So I decided to buy the home. I bought my first home at the age of 21. Credit was not that bad, but my credit was in good, since I didn't own anything. I bought a car with the cash and stuff like that. So my credit wasn't good, since I didn't establish a credit. I didn't have much credit card and stuff like that. So I really had time getting my first place. Then bought the place. I bought an old house in Chicago, and it was an old bungalow home, 5 bedroom, 2 bathroom, full finished basement and everything. Into the closing, the lawyer said that I bought the home for 195,000. I put 60,000 down payment. 135,000 was my loan amount, conventional loan. Then the lawyer said that, Leah, if it take 15 years for you to pay off the home, your loan amount would be 300 something. So I got, that's all I had. I registered that in my head right away. Then I thought that how can I pay off? So if I take the loan, the interest rate was kind of high, 7.25%. But if I take 15 years for me to pay off the place, it would cost me 200,000 in interest. So as soon as I had that, every month I put addition to the principal. Within 2 years, I was able to pay off my first home. At the age of 23, my house is paid off. I'm not saying that it's not easy for you to do it unless you are very strict with the money. I'm very frugal with money, as you can see. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. I would definitely recommend anyone to buy a home, accumulate acuity over time. You can borrow against, and if you want, you can put it in properties. You can put it into that and down payment and buy it. And also another thing, if you are renting it, it's okay, as long as you are renting from a relative or somebody for a cheap rent, less than $500, and save up the money to buy a home. That's a good thing. But I would never recommend you to rent a home and pay that extra money. If I'm paying $1,500 for the rent, I rather pay that much money to a home, which I can accumulate acuity over time. But like I told you, if you are renting a home, basement or something, very affordable rate, and that's not a bad thing. Then you can put more money to the down payment. That's a good thing. Or if you can buy a place with the cash, that's even better. Then you don't need to worry about the interest or anything else. Your home, afterwards. So that's a good thing. As a small real estate investor, I can give you the tips I learned from years. And in my experience, owning a home is great. You can do whatever you want to the home versus renting. Instead of, keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend you to buy a condo, because there is a lot of community restriction and condo association rules. I own 2 condos. I'm in a process that how to get rid of that. But as long as you buy a home, you can personalize yourself. If you are not handy, you can get a handyman and do the stuff, and it would be much cheaper, and you can do whichever way you want, and you are accumulating acuity over time. You can borrow against the money, loans or kids education and different stuff. I know another thing I can tell you is location is very important. Keep stressing on how important the location is. Buying a house in a good location, it's not hard for you to sell it anytime you want. You will not depreciate the value. It's very important, especially if you have to look for a good school system. Schools always appreciate the value of the home. I know you might pay a little bit more money in the taxes and everything, but it's well worth it. I would like to hear from you guys, and tell me your ideas of renting versus own a home. Then I would like to hear from you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, comment, share and like it. Again, thank you so much for 1300 subscribers. Without you guys, I will not be able to make it. Have a great day. Okay, bye.